it would make sense that an iconic character like Sherlock Holmes would be retold and retold again throughout the decades. What is most unusual is to have one incarnation of him, the very successful BBC television series, um, create him in two ways. On what would be your left is the Big Chief Studios version of Sherlock, and on your right is the very recent Pop Toys version of Sherlock. Um, and and what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about them both. I'm going to talk about the Pop Toys first and what the Pop Toys figure comes with. And then we're going to talk about Mr. Big Chief, okay? And this opening will stand for both, as will its closing, so we can talk about them again some more together. Well, let's go ahead and start by talking about Victorian British detective Sherlock, and then we will carry on to his more modern, long-haired incarnation. And today we are going to do a review from the greatest dealers in the world, Cotswold Collectibles. I pre-ordered this little grouping about a while ago. I knew it was going to take some time to come out. What in God's name am I talking about? I'm talking about Pop Toys' British Detective and his sofa accessory. So we're going to hold off on the sofa at first, but in a second I'm going to go ahead and open up first British Detective from Pop Toys, as I said, and show you what he looks like. I just wanted you to see the box itself. I'm going to go ahead and turn the box on its side while I open. For the quick reveal of the actual figure box. British Detective 1/6 scale figure. Obviously, as you can see from the silhouette, this is Sherlock, and it is the BBC series Sherlock, not the American CBS series Elementary Sherlock. Both sides are going to say British Detective. So I'm not going to show you both sides, but I am going to show you that the back pretty much tells you what's going to be part of this review. A simulate head, simulating whom we will discuss. A high male body, as opposed to a low male. Naked hands, well, I sincerely hope so. Gloved hands, a detective cap, a high cap, which I'm guessing is going to be a top hat, a cloak, a shirt, tie, vest. Interesting that they're saying vest, because in British, that would be waistcoat. Long suit, pants, again, British would be trousers, pants are something else. Strangely enough, vest and pants go together. That would be a camisole and panties. One pair of boots, one pipe, one watch, one sofa cushion. That right there is supposed to be the sofa. We will talk about whether or not that's a sofa in a little bit. But let's now go ahead again and remove the box. We are experiencing technical stupidity. Please stand by. good thing is it's packed very well, so it's not going to get damaged in shipping. And in case you were wondering who this simulates, it is in fact Benedict Cumberbatch, who has been known to get ladies unmentionables in a cummerbunch. So this is a very nice, I think I've called them before like subway posters, where you can go ahead and hang these up as well as pieces of art. And then we also, so then once we remove the felt, here's the figure in the traveling box. The hats are at the top. His accessories are throughout. I'm assuming somewhere in here there should be a stand, one prays. Or if not, he's going to go right in the chair. But we will see to that in a moment when I debox him and we go ahead and take a look at all of these accessories in play. So here we have what is supposed to be a sofa. And if you're looking at this with me, you're saying, in what galaxy is this a sofa? This isn't like they were going with the British word for a chair like this, because they weren't following the British wording for particular articles of clothing. No, I've noticed that Asian dealers and Asian action figure makers, Asian 1/6 scale furniture makers, they call this kind of chair a sofa, and I don't know why. I mean, it's upholstered as a sofa would be, but it is not really a sofa. It's an armchair, which is incredibly well detailed, mind you. If you notice, it has the bulleting on both sides, you know, like a very well made leather armchair would. So it's very nicely detailed that way. It has the molded seat here, to which you would add the padding. Now keep in mind, it's the lighting itself that is making this chair seem green. It is actually black. Now let's go ahead and into this chair bring in the man of the hour, Mr. Benedict Cumberbatch, playing Sherlock. And I'm going to have him sit in the chair so you can see how well he looks in it. Not that Benedict ever has to worry about looking bad. Here we go. Let's start with looking at the sculpt itself of Sherlock Holmes as portrayed by Benedict Cumberbatch. It's a very, very good likeness. Now that we've seen a lot of him lately, he looks very stern and serious, as that particular Sherlock Holmes would be. He's not particularly jovial. So he has very defined cheekbones, and his chin is nicely shaped. The hair is molded to make it easier to put one's hat on, if one so wished to do so. Like so. I want to smush it. There you go. He also comes with a top hat, which definitely fits better right from the start. He does have this very nice gold watch, which you saw unfortunately drop when I had it in, it has what is supposed to look like, and I hope I can hold this steady enough. It's supposed to be the clip, and it's supposed to tuck in over here into his vest pocket. And it did, but it doesn't stay in. So you would have to basically do what I'm about to do, which is go ahead and find the pocket again, tuck it in there, and then just simply have it rest in his hand. But it didn't stay. So I think what I'll do is I'll simply open his hand up and have it, and I'll trick the shot and have him just sitting here like so, looking at his watch, wondering when this ridiculous review will be over and he can go back to smoking his pipe. Also, not badly constructed. You certainly can't put fake tobacco in it. Not badly constructed at all. Unfortunately, he doesn't come with a stand, so this is going to make it, the next part of this, very tricky. But I'm going to try to stand him up and take you through the rest of his ensemble. He is wearing a very, very small necktie at the top, which is in keeping with that style of fashion. Checkered vest. I'm going to move one of the lights in so hopefully you can catch the difference. The vest is checkered with a slightly thicker check than his trousers. Obviously, the shirt is white. Nice detailing that his overcoat is lined, which is not something we usually see. And just very quickly to point the camera down, he's got socks on, which is not always the case with figures like this. And I think I'm going to pause here to very quickly switch out this coat for the cloak so you can see the rest of the ensemble. Okay? So here is the outdoor, the more formal look for our dear Mr. Holmes. Again, back into the top hat. And by the way, just to go into a detail that I hadn't seen before, right up top here is a very nice black band. So that's not usually a detail you'll see with the molded top hats, but it's very classy. He does have his gloved hand out to shake your hand. And what's nice about this cloak is there's some wiring in the cape part. So if you wanted to do an action pose where it seems like he's running towards you, you do have that ability to pose the cloak in motion. The cloak, the waistcoat, aka the vest, are lined. The trousers are not. These are removable hands, and the peg to remove the hands is at the wrist. So it's not that you pull out the wrist, you pull off the hand. And if you remember, it said that it came with 2 naked hands and 4 gloved hands. So you have this very nice, how do you do, sir? Gloved hand here, and he also has, if he was going to throw a punch at you, a left and a right to throw punches. And that's about it for what he comes with. I mean, I think the big selling point was supposed to be the sofa, so I'll bring that back in. And sit down the good detective. So we can talk about whether or not you want to try to score this. And the answer is yes, you do. And why do you want to try to score this figure? Well, let's go back to the obvious. I'm not, kit bashing is, when you kit bash a figure together, it's always going to involve a little bit of a doctor job, should we say. And it wouldn't be entirely strange of you if you were looking through Google and happened to come across screen grabs from a certain movie that just came out, and then you might decide that you could use this wonderful likeness of Benedict for one of his other roles that you tend to marvel at. And I wouldn't blame you if you did. I'm certainly thinking about doing the same. And before we go and leave you to ponder what wonderful little stories and books you can make with Mr. Benedict Cumberbunch, I want to show you one more interesting bit. Remember I said very nicely that the chair has bulleting? Well, so do his socks. So there's that. It almost tricks it. You're not. It's almost like the old-fashioned shoe booty combination, which I think is kind of cool. So for Sherlock, Benedict, whatever roles you can dream up about him as you go on your quest for truth and no magic, and for my cat who is wandering around, so I better finish this up pretty quick. Definitely get your hands on him, and I would get your hands on this version, the one that again is called British Detective by Pop Toys. Why? Well, in another review, I'm going to briefly show you a version that, again, isn't fully licensed by the BBC, but is another incarnation of Sherlock, and we're going to talk about why maybe that one has its pros and cons, but this one is definitely the better of the two. So until that review, I'm Barbara, wishing you very happy playing. Take care. Bye-bye.